We have here with us Honorable Segun Olulade, member representing Ekpe 2 constituency in the Lagos State House of Assembly. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Sahara Reporters. So you did serve as public servant in the last administration of Governor Fashola, and now you're serving under Akinwumi Abode. How do you compare between the two administrations? Well,
they are unique in their different ways. Both have different ways of dealing with people and leadership styles. Where Fashola left it, Akinwumi have been able to transform and build upon it. And we are blessed in Lagos with the kind of leadership we have, democratic leaderships that we've had in the past, and current one is doing fantastically well.
Speaking of fantastic leadership, in October of 2016, Lagos State lawmakers appealed to Governor Ambode Akinwumi to reconsider the planned demolition of slums and shanties across the state. Apparently, that appeal was ignored, as we find that Otodo-Gbame, Iyawa, Yaba, and Small Kuramu were all demolished. Is this a clear case of a governor who is against the poor?
Well, that is quite differ from what is on ground. You see, the information that people have outside there is not the exact thing that is happening. In government, we have a way of communicating, and when a matter is raised, we raise it on two platforms. One, for the purpose of a motion. The other one is in the purpose of ensuring that we invite those who are concerned. And the issue you are referring to, though they are not, don't let me even go into that. The two issues you are referring to are, I think it wasn't done to victimize the poor. This government has displayed beyond reasonable doubt that it is for the poor people. It has touched lives in a very unique way across the state. So it's not targeting, if there is a policy that is done that affects the rich, we cannot say, you can't even tag this government as an illicit government. It has done so much for the so-called downtrodden, the so-called poor people, more than anything that anybody can now accuse him of not being sensitive to the plight of the poor. It has always been. And more, you should also understand that where we have security challenges, it is not about the poor alone, it is also about the rich, and it's about everybody within the state. We then have security challenges that is known to everybody, and somebody have to pay for it. It's unfortunate, it's from that hand, but there is a saying that there is no gain without pain.
Sir, are you aware that residents of Otodo-Gbame have not been relocated as ordered by the courts?
I am not aware.
So when you say that Lagos State government has done a lot to cater for the poor, what do you mean?
In every aspect of life, we have seen it repeatedly being demonstrated by this government, that is a government, is an inclusive government that is for the poor. When you see the kind of infrastructure development, the security that's been provided for Lagosians in Lagos, and the issue, even the light up Lagos, the education, the health sector, name every sector we are talking about. This government is so concerned about everybody, be you poor, irrespective of your status, your religion, or your tribe. Everybody is being catered for here in Lagos. So it's not about this government targeting a particular set of people, but it's targeting the development and the welfare of the people and the security of lives and property of the people of Lagos.
So you don't see anything wrong in forcefully evacuating people who live
like I told you, there is no gain without pain. Somebody have to suffer for once there is a change in anything, somebody must pay for it. It's not just about here alone. It's done worldwide. It's not just about Lagos State. It's done worldwide. So for you to say that if for instance, if a government decide to stop Okada in Lagos State or in Nigeria or in any state in Nigeria, does it mean the government is against the poor? Because the poor uses Okada, the rich also uses Okada. It's not about the poor, but it's about the safety of our people. It's about security. It's about the welfare of our people. Have you been to the slum you are referring to? Is it ideal for people to live in that kind of condition? So if there have been steps, and when you say they have not been relocated, well, I know that the government must have put in some measures to say leave that place and relocated to where? Who are we even relocating? You must have faces to these issues. If you don't have faces to the issues that you are referring to, then it becomes an issue. So if there is a court judgment and the court judgment needs to be implemented, the court judgment can be implemented, but it is also with certain provisions. Those provisions must be followed. So, and there are procedures that the government will have to follow even after a judgment is given. If the judgment is given today, there are also opportunity to appeal to the judgment. If the appeal have not been done or there is an existing judgment, it is the responsibility of the government of the day to implement. But in implementing also, it's not a straight jacket. It's not going to be abracadabra. It's going to be through processes. There must be available fund to relocate. There must be land. There must be all those things.
So if the government knew that there has to be land, there has to be some kind of provisions in place before relocation would happen, why then would it go ahead to evict people when there are nothing in place, when there's nothing in place?
No,
what kind of government does that?
Like I said, the government responsibility is for you to ensure that we have the welfare and the safety of the people, and the larger society must be considered. That's why we have what we call overriding interest, public interest. If there is an overriding public interest over a matter, it is expected that government take that decision. The minority might be affected in that situation, but since there is an overriding public matter that have to do with that particular issue, it is the responsibility of that government to act and act swiftly and fast without really considering what you are talking about. Because if you consider it, things might have gone wrong, and that will have affected a lot of people more than the people you are referring to.
It's interesting how you did mention the issue of safety, sir. Since after the kidnap incidents of school children at Ibonla Epe, security has virtually remained the same. What exactly would happen to cause you to take security of your constituency seriously? Today,
as I speak with you, we are more secured than ever. In the history of that constituency, the kind of security that we have now in place has never been witnessed before. So we are safe in my constituency, nothing of such. Yes, it happens then, but now the government are now supporting, the federal government are now supporting the state government to ensure that we have that security in place, and we have it. Now, we live a peaceful life in my constituency today.
When you say you have security, so what do you mean? I mean, do you have vigilante groups? Do you have...
It's a security matter. I don't need to tell you the details, because the details must not always be known to the enemy. So, but like I said, we have security in place as far as that place is concerned.
Sir, it is common knowledge that state legislatures all over Nigeria are mere rubber stamps of governors. Do you think this is true?
Well, I would say I would say it's not true, and I will not say it is true. Well, it can be so in some states, but the only parliament that I belong to that I can talk about is Lagos State House of Assembly, and I can tell you Lagos State House of Assembly is not a rubber stamp House of Assembly to any governor since inception, and we've always maintained that.
As chairman of the House Committee on Health Services, what are you doing to enlighten Lagosians about the monkeypox epidemic?
Well, we've done a lot. I've gone, or even I did some sort of a write-up concerning monkeypox, put it on all the social media that is available for now, which I also am a major player in those social media. I spoke to the media about it. One of the things that we've been able to do is to address the issue of such epidemic in future, which the Cancer and Disease Control Institute also serve as a remedy for such in future. So we have also informed our people to continue to enlighten the public, sensitize them in their respective areas, local government and SCDs.
In line with Section 2 of the Road Traffic Law of 2012, Akinwumi Ambode bans the movement of trailers and long vehicles in Lagos State between the hours of 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. But today, the law is being flouted. Why is this so? Why are lawmakers quiet about this?
We are not quiet, but also we have to be sensitive to issues. Just yesterday, I have a radio program where the SA on transport and the acting commissioner on transport was invited to enlighten the public about what is even going on, the Apapa gridlock. In my program, the Otodo-Gbame program on radio, we were able to invite the acting commissioner to talk to the people, and there's little that the government of Lagos can do. We need the federal government intervention. The federal government must take up that responsibility to ensure that the safety of the people should be paramount. What we see, there must be an integrity test on the bridge where you see this lineup. Yes, the kind of federal system that we practice gave room for all this rubbish. Because if not, a state cannot have control over the road that the people of a state is plying. So it is important that we look into the issue of true federalism. Okay. I think that is where the challenges is coming from. Where somebody will say, I am not on your road, I am on a federal road, inside a state. And that is why we keep seeing roads that are not too good. And it will now fall back to the state to try repairing those roads. So those are the things that we are talking about.
So you're saying that until the federal government comes into this matter, there's very little.
There must be federal government intervention.
Oh, okay.
There must be federal government intervention on this. State governors and government cannot do much than they are doing, especially what we are doing in Lagos. We have a law, but these people can also challenge the law to say they are on a federal road. So it's only federal government that can say they should not operate on a federal road. So there are so many things that we need to address with our constitution.
Sir, just this week we had 22 contestants of the July 22nd council polls, Lagos State, go to petition the Lagos State Petition Tribunal on the local government elections. Would you say that the council elections were free and fair?
Perfectly. The council elections were free and fair, as far as I know. And for the fact that people also have the mindset to go to court, also show that democracy is working. So for me, it is expected that people should challenge, even when it is glaring that they cannot win an election, or where you see people going to court. But no problem. That is the essence of democracy.
In line with the change mantra with which your party emerged winner in the 2015 presidential elections, how much failures would you say that this government has recorded? Failures, I mean, not success.
when you talk about failures, maybe because of the kind of person I am, I don't really think about failures the way you say I should think about it now. I think about successes. I look at the positive side of people. I am not a negative person, so I don't normally look at the failures of people, but I want to add, if there are places that we need to see improve upon, fine, but not failures. For the fact that you are not improving in a particular sector, or they are not, we've not recorded the kind of successes that we should be saying in a particular sector, does not mean you have failed in that sector. So that's why I said it will be very, very difficult for somebody like me to look at the failure aspect of a particular government.
That your government has not recorded the kind of successes that the people did expect, then how then are you seeking to improve yourself?
Yeah, well, for me, as an individual, I have the responsibility to represent my people, and I keep improving on the kind of representation that I am providing for the people of my constituency. So I expect every public officer that is being elected to also do the same. We should always have a time to review whatever you've been doing, your electoral promises, and also. So for me, I think it is important that every public officer should also emulate that and look at where we are, what we can do to improve where we are. So, and I think the current government is also looking at that.
Let me remind you of some of the failures of this government. In case you did say you don't even look at it. So let me remind you.
Thank you.
Now, this government claims to be fighting corruption. And so far, we have seen the Ikoyi looting, we have seen the IDP shooting, we have seen the IDP looting, we have seen so much corruption here and there. This government did also promise that when it emerges winner, it would help in the cleanup of Ogoni land. It was just flagged off, and that was it. That was the end. This government claims that, once it gets into government, the economic situation of Nigeria, boom, everything, goes into...
You just mentioned something about Ogoni land. I said you just flag up.
It was just that was last year.
That means something is happening.
Last year, 2016.
You see the process.
12 months
you
now,
see the
sir.
process of getting things done might not be known to everybody. What we see is the end result of what we have been doing. People might be inside planning, the period of planning, and that is one area I want us also to look into, is the area of planning. People don't always consider that area of planning. We always want to see action. Now, it's been flagged up. There are people who have been saddled with the responsibility to ensure the cleanup. When
I say flagged up, I mean that the federal government put up a banner to say that the Ogoni land cleanup will commence. Yes. That's just it.
Yes. Something has been done. That means they have Ogoni land in mind to have.
And for over 12 months, nothing has happened.
Planning is not Jack Robinson.
Sir, for over 12 months. Sir.
Yeah, it can even be 2, 3, 4 years.
Ogoni land that has suffered plenty of environmental pollution, land pollution.
Yeah, yes. You see,
sir, do you agree that this government, do you agree that Nigerians are tired of this government? Do you agree?
No. Why would the Nigerians be tired of this government that is performing? No Nigerian will be tired of any government like this. We know where we were. We know where we are today. So no, I don't think any Nigerian. I don't know about you, but I am not tired.
What are your reactions to the controversies surrounding the reinstatement of ex-chairman Presidential Task Force on Pension Reforms, Abdulrasheed, Maina?
Number one, I don't like judging people based on hearsay. I think Maina have that responsibility to face the law and be charged to court. So I am not going to talk about Maina. Concerning his reinstatement, the federal government has said they don't know anything about his reinstatement, and some people that is also the responsibility for them to be able to come out and clear the air more about that reinstatement. For me, I an observer in that case, and I'm still observing.
We've read severally that former Lagos State Governor Ahmed Bola Tinubu controls everything in Lagos State, including getting monthly disbursements from local government areas and political actors. Did you experience any of this? I mean, did you have to give up anything to get to where you are?
Well, for those who knows me very well, they know what I stand for. There has never been any day, and I can tell you authoritatively, I have gone to Asiwaju to collect money from him. Even when I was contesting, even when I was not contesting, he has given me money. Even before I became a member of this house, even when I was still a student, I have gone to meet Asiwaju. He has given me money severally. So it is not about. I don't think I don't think I have ever seen anybody that is close to me that have told me that they bribe him to be in any position. Now, like you said, you read it. A lot of things, if you sit down in the corner of your room, you can put anything on social media today. That does not make it to be true. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu have contributed hugely to the development of this country, not only for Lagos State as you are trying to make him to be. So he has, if somebody who led a party to victory, somebody who have been in politics and added so much value, more than anybody living on earth today in Nigeria, as far as I know. And I challenge anybody to come out, to come and mention any name of any individual that have added value to our democracy, like Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu have done in the last 16 years. So for such an individual, I don't think a councillor or a chairman of a local government or a mere House of Assembly member or House of Rep member or senator will now say he's demanding for one thing or the other from him. Rather, when he believes in a cause, he goes all out to ensure that people who have trust, people who believe in his ideology, rally around them to support that same cause. And he has demonstrated that in several ways. And Nigerians and Lagosians can look back and say, thank you, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for providing us this kind of leadership. He has given us Babatunde Fashola. He has given us even the Buhari and the Osinbajo. It's same Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu that gave us those two leaders. He has also provided us the leadership like Akinwumi Ambode. So we have so many of us that we can look back and say we are a product of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I am a proud product of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and I have no apology to tender in that aspect. I'm a proud member of his political family, and I'm still receiving tutelage from Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Lastly,
sir, how would you analyze the criticism that's come from the opposition parties since APC got into government?
They don't have anything. I don't think we have opposition, as far as I'm concerned. For me, I see them as mere Babasala stuff. There is no concrete, constructive criticism coming from their hand. When ACN was in opposition, led by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that is when we have a reliable, more focused opposition that anybody can look back and say, yes, we have a political opposition. But today, it's just people talking about how you dress, how you don't dress, how somebody dance, he doesn't dance. I don't think that's opposition. I want opposition that will challenge every policy of government, that will be constructive, not because they want to malign somebody, not because they want to destroy a particular person, but they will come out with concrete criticism that will back their facts and figures, not just coming out to say somebody travel, somebody do not travel. I don't think that's what Nigerians want.